What the hell just happened?
Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, and thank you for all of the comments over the last few weeks, and the increase in subscribers again, which has been amazing, and all the communication we've been doing on Voxer and stuff as well. Really cool, really grateful for all of that. This is a monthly roundup, so this is the third one I've done, so I started to do it for this year. This was a decision to add this to my regular features, and I haven't got a lot of regular features, to be fair, but this is one of them, the monthly roundup, and it's quite nice because I can look at what I've done over the month and might spark some interest in what you're doing. It might create some new conversations in the comments, might be quite interesting. So first thing to look at is what I've done in the videos, and I've put 14 videos up, as well as a few shorts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah. I'll talk about them quickly in order. So I did do the song tag, which has just been received so well. It's been fantastic. I've made a separate playlist for the song tag for anyone that's interested in looking at everyone else's responses to the tag. It's been really cool, and some really good responses. So the song tag has been a really lovely thing this month to see flourish. I was really nervous about doing it as well, because I thought it might be so unbookish that people are going, what's he doing? And then I did a video of auto buy authors, so the authors that I automatically buy something if I see them, which I've been meaning to do for a while. I filmed it ages ago actually, but I had been meaning to do it for a while before I did it, and that was came off the back of watching Mike from Fit to Be Read do it. And then I did the pet peeves tag, or put up the pet peeves tag again. That had been done a while back, and that's kind of about reading habits, and I was tagged by Mark from Book Time with Elvis, so hi Mark for that one. So I did that this month as well. I did my first book haul since the Read What Your Own challenge was attempted and then abandoned after 15 books. So that was quite a nice thing to do the book haul, because there was some really good stuff that I found recently, and yeah, so that was a nice thing to do. Well, I did a few book reviews, so I won't talk about the book reviews so much, as I'll mention the books in a minute. But I did the Jim Henson tag, so that's one I've been meaning to do for a while, but it was actually done recently as well, and put up straight away. And some people have done that one, which is really nice. So if you do like Jim Henson, or you think the prompts are interesting, there's 10 prompts based around his body of work and what his studio does, and what his puppeteers do. I really am grateful to the people that have done the Jim Henson tag, and, you know, obviously big up to Uncle Jim. And then I announced my Spring Me a Melody event. So I don't know if anyone's going to take this up, and there were a few people that did the Audible August one. Ironically, I thought this might be better because it's not competing with anything else in August, because there's so much that happens in August. So I thought I'd do it in spring. I haven't had much of a response yet, but sometimes these things take a while to get round, and we've got the whole of spring, and spring's only just started, although it has started. Whoop whoop whoop. The Spring Me a Melody is an event where I am going to read some books that are based around music or songs. So it could be a fictional book with music in the narrative, or it could be a biography. It could, you know, anything like that. I've got a John Mellencamp one behind here that I've been meaning to read for ages, actually. But anyway, various things I'm going to make sure I read in spring as part of the Spring Me a Melody. So if you fancy that, if you want to just join in and just say what you're going to read for that, it doesn't have to be much, but if you want to do it, that'd be cool. So that was an announcement I made this month. And I did a special video that I thought had been brewing in my mind for a while, and I thought it was something that needed to be said. I don't know why, I just felt like I needed to say it, and that was the It's All About the Characters video. So this was where I just said that it's to me, I think it's the defining element of good writing. So there's various things that obviously make a good writer, you know, world building, use of language, structure, consistency, creative ideas, all sorts of things. But characterization is key to all of it. that's what that video is about. So if you think that's an interesting thing for me to say, have a look at what I say in the video. And I do think it's, for me, it's the linchpin between something that I really like and something that's just okay. You know, a book that's got some good ideas but didn't really grab me and take me along with it. Just sort of I sludged through it. So that's kind of my point there with the characters video. And I did my 700 subscribers video, so thank you so much for prompting that with the subscribing. But it was a ridiculous video. So if you haven't seen it, it's each time I get to a milestone, I've tried to do something to honour it. And with the 500 subs, I did the Q&A, and I've done sort of tags based on the subs. And this time I just did lots and lots of answers without questions, without any context, and it's stupid, but it might make you laugh. It made me laugh, which is why I abandoned it at the end. So anyway, thank you for the subscribers. And I did another Historathon video, so I'm trying to keep that up, and this time this was a video of my favourite books from my history degree. So there were some books that I hadn't mentioned before that I wanted to mention, and a few that are just favourites, and you might not see my other Historathon videos. So that was a nod to the event, and also I thought it was quite a good one to do. And this was based on, I'd seen a literature graduate do the same thing for his favourite versions of English literature they'd studied. So it's kind of like that. But I did more than 5 books. I only did 5 books. I can't even find the original video that prompted me to do it. But anyway, I'm doing another Historathon video today, actually. And I'm going to do the response to Brian at Bookish, because he did a video, is history art or science? And I've got a very specific answer to that. So I'm going to do that one today as well. So thinking about this, I don't know if you'll see it. I don't know if you'll see it before this film or not, before this video or not. And then I did a video talking about the Sword series by Fritz Lieber, the Pfeffer and Mauser books. And I did the last one I did before the month closed was about censorship and my humble response to what everyone's been saying about how it's wrong to change the words in books, and is there another alternative? And I just thought, well, you could just put a warning on the book saying that it might contain outdated language, that kind of thing. Okay, so the books, what did I read? So the first thing I was doing was finishing off this. This is such a good book. So I will talk about this book in more detail with a separate review, which I'm going to do in April. So I am going to do this. It's a really, really good book. So I'd like to talk about it and talk about what it covers and who might be interested in it. So Battling the Gods, Atheism in the Ancient World was the first book I finished in this month. And I also finished this because this has been going on since January, and I'd been dipping into it. It's not enormous, but it's an encyclopedia, so it felt odd to just kind of read it page after page after page after page, so I was kind of dipping into it. But I really like it. I think it's really good, and it's got some interesting entries in it, so I'm going to go through that as well. So I'll probably tackle those two together. They're really the only things I've done for the first quarter of the Historathon, but I thought, to be fair, out of all of the 4 quarters, I thought that one would be the most difficult for me to get really stuck into. So I kind of predicted I'd read less books than I would for the other ones, but we'll see. But anyway, I read a book on evolution as the prehistory thing was part of it. There are a couple of books I wanted to get to this, which I didn't get to. I wanted to get to this, and in the end, the last week hasn't brought me to this book. And there was another one called The Darkening Age, which looked even better, and I do really want to read that. So if I can squeeze that in another quarter, I'll do it anyway. And I will have a look at this soon. So that was the first 2 books I read properly, and then I read Legends and Lattes, which I did a special book review video of, which is a really interesting book. It's quite different. It's not what you'd expect from a fantasy book, and it might actually be a bit of a game changer for how fantasy is written now, possibly. It's quite slight in its style, which is quite unusual for fantasy. So yeah, I'm going to use that word. I don't think I used it in the review. It's very slight. So Legends and Lattes. And then I read... Oh, well, I had been reading I had been starting this, so I've read about 8 of the stories so far, and it's massive. There's loads and loads of stories. There's hundreds of stories in there. So it's going to take me a while, but I knew that. You know, I knew I was going to take a while with this. But this is the first book in my deep dive of folklore, fairy tales, and folk stories. So and fables. That was the other word. So I am getting through this, but yeah, once I get through enough to warrant a video, I'm going to do my favourite Brothers Grimm stories. But I haven't got enough yet. But there's been some interesting ones. I think my favourite one so far, out of the ones I've read, was The Cat and the Mouse in Partnership. Anyway, that's been started. So I know there was one person, I can't remember who it was, but someone commented on the announcement video saying they were looking forward to me doing this. So apologies if you think it's a little bit slow and I should have been doing videos on this by now, but I did want to approach it with a bit of pace because, or not with a lot of pace, because I didn't want to stress out about it, and I wanted to read other things while I was doing it. So apologies if I'm not doing enough videos on it, but there will be a video on this one probably, if it's not the end of this month, it will be the beginning of May. So yeah, Brothers Grimm will be tackled soon. But yeah, they're really interesting stories. So anyway, I've started that, so that is on the go. Also, talking about my deep divey challenges things, I had already read this for the Ray Bradbury one, which I've already talked about, and I've been reading this, which is kind of like a nice like companion piece because they're both the crime books before I get into what he's more known for. So he's not really associated with crime and thriller like this kind of thriller book. So it was really nice to see that that's how he started. So these are from the 40s, early 40s. And I'm getting through this. Once I've done this one, I'm going to talk about both of them in a video, so I can kind of close that period of his career. And then the next one after that is Dark Carnival, I think it's called, which is really the October Country plus a few other stories. So I will be looking at that soon, which would be cool. I read A Princess of Mars, which was a really nice revelation. So I was a little bit nervous because I wanted to like it, and obviously it's such an important and classic book, and I knew some of what it influenced, but I saw a few other things as I was reading it. And this is the first of a bunch of books I bought, so I'm glad I did like it because I'm going to read the others. But anyway, I did a proper full review of it on the channel this month. So if you think that's interesting and you might want to check that out, Edgar Rice Burroughs' Princess of Mars has a review on here. And yeah, it's a review I quite like as well. I think I nailed what I wanted to say. So check that out if you're interested. This was really, really interesting. So Percy Gloom by Cathy Malkassian. Cathy Malkassian. Right, so I did not know much about this at all. And I was literally sold by the artwork. I love what Percy Gloom looks like, and I just love the way, and I sort of, I bought this online. So it wasn't even that I was sold by the artwork inside, but I do love the artwork inside. I really love it. It's just awesome. And what I'm intending to do, because I really like this a lot, I'm going to hopefully get the other Percy Gloom book, and then I'll review them both in the same video, because I think that might work better, and it'll be nice to compare them or talk about the progression, possibly, if there is a progression, if they're linked. But yeah, I love the artwork. I really, really like it. It's got a lot of character, a lot of charm. It's kind of bizarre. I think I did I put a review on Goodreads, so I did say, I remember thinking, what am I going to say about this? So yeah, I mean, it's lots of things at the same time. It's very interesting the way it's written. But yeah, I am going to talk about Percy Gloom, but I don't know if tell me if you've read this, because I haven't heard anyone talk about it, and I just literally bought it from the artwork, and I really like it. So it's very much a Gareth kind of graphic novel. It's very me. So that was read. And there was one other book that I'd read, which is Bahamul Harabal's Closely Watched Trains. So this is a Czech book. It's a classic, Penguin classic here. And I had seen the film that was made in the 60s, which he was involved in. And I wanted to read the book, because actually it was quite a formative film for me when I saw it when I was a teenager. So to be fair, I've always remembered it. It's always resonated with me. So I thought, oh, I'll read the book, and I have done a full review of it. So I won't say too much, but I don't think the video's come up yet. I think that's scheduled for May time, from what I remember. So yeah, there will be a book review of Closely Watched Trains coming up on the channel soon. But that was the other book I'd read this month. So according to Goodreads, I've read 19 books so far this month, which means I'm 2 books ahead of schedule apparently for my goal, which is, you know, a standard goal. I normally go for sort of 65, 70 books a year to make sure that I'm not stressing out and putting a crazy number on it. But I am aware that if I go through a week and I haven't read much, that, again, not stressing about it, but it could be time to find some time to read. So that kind of thing. That's how I look at the Goodreads goals. And one thing I haven't mentioned in the other 2 roundups, which I think is worth logging as well, or at least mentioning, and that's that the 100 album challenge is now the last one that's put up, which was the one for April Fool's Day, which was the cartoon collection, which is genuinely a genuinely really good album, but I put up there as April Fool because it's obviously cartoon music, so it's a little comedic or whatever. But that was number 32. So we are now a third of the way through the 100 album challenge. So I don't know if you've been watching them, but I've filmed them all really quickly. I filmed them all in the space of about a month when I first started doing it, and they've been posted up with the gaps. So there's like usually a couple a month, which is why I've got stuff scheduled right up to 2025. But as far as my regular proper 20-minute videos, you know, or videos that go up to that kind of length, that's only scheduled up to sort of July this year. But I've mentioned the scheduling thing recently when MJ and Greg were doing a live stream, and I mentioned the fact that the Tuesday tune is really difficult for me to keep doing on a Tuesday because I forget, and then and I can't just schedule that up because it's a community post. But I have scheduled loads of other stuff. So I did so many videos last summer because I had a lot of free time, and those are still filtering through a little bit. I've got a couple left of those. Plus, because I've been able to do that, I've been doing some others in advance, and I mess around the schedule because it could be that there's some that are more time sensitive and that kind of thing. So the reaction videos I tend to put up quicker, and sometimes I want to say something about a theme, or I don't know. There might be several reasons why I might shift the schedule around and not put something up really late. But yeah, I mean the video I'm doing. There is one video I'm going to be doing in the next couple of days that I know will go out in July, because I don't think there's a mad rush for it, but I want to do the video. And the scheduling thing can be a little bit confusing because also I sometimes worry, you guys can tell me about this if this is a thing, but I do worry sometimes about putting too much up, so I'll try and leave about 3 or 4 days a gap, but I haven't done that all the time because I've wanted to put something up that's time sensitive, and then there's been another thing that's been time sensitive, so it's had to be like 2 days or even 1 day sometimes. So yeah, I'm trying to leave gaps so it's not like saturating the channel with loads of content. But you tell me if that's too much or not. So anyway, that was what March was like. We're now into April. I think it's going to be an interesting month. We're now into the second quarter of the Historathon, so we're going to look at the years from the year 500 to 1500, and I'm going to keep going into the Brothers Grimm book. I'm going to finish that Ray Bradbury one, and I've got a few other things I want to read as well. I might finally get to this. Dun dun dun. It'd be great to get to this, but we'll see. I've got so much to read. And I'd like to, there's a couple of other graphic novels I want to read as well. So we'll see how we get on. And also next month, I'm hoping, of this month coming, I'm hoping to finish my poetry book as well. So if I finish that, I'll probably do a video about my process of how I've done it and when I've decided that it's finished, because it's a little bit of an open-ended project. I'll explain that in the video. But I do want that to be done soon, because in May I want to start writing my next novel. So that's going to be a big project that will probably eat into my reading time as well. So I'll probably dip a bit in the reading in May if I want to get started with that, and possibly into June, but we'll see. But that's why I'm really keen to get this poetry one done, because I've gone over halfway. It's mostly written, but the novel, because the novel is going to be a sequel to the Brown Yelp Gang, I have to read the Brown Yelp Gang again so it's consistent and I don't forget anything that I've written in the Brown Yelp Gang, which I really enjoyed writing, and I can't wait to write the sequel, because I know exactly what the plot is, I know how it's going to work, and it should be really funny. That's what I want. I just want it to be funny. There's no big message in it. I just want to make people laugh. So we'll see. But in the meantime, thank you so much for watching. Please comment below on anything I've said today, and check out the video that I've just put up today, which I don't know when you're going to see this, but it's the one celebrating BookTube, and there's like 10 books that I've read because of BookTubers, and I talk about some of the BookTubers that have influenced my reading. I didn't cover everybody because I couldn't, so there's some people I've mentioned in this video I could have mentioned. So I'm going to try and do it annually. But anyway, check that out if you're interested. In the meantime, thanks for watching. Bye.